Coastal communities all across Massachusetts are used to dealing with storms ranging from nor'easters to hurricanes. But here in Scituate, this town seems to be hit hard almost all of the time. And for that reason, the seawalls in this community really need work done quite a bit. Unfortunately, the funding usually isn't there, but with the help of FEMA, some work is now getting ready to start in Scituate to help fortify those seawalls and protect the residents of this seaside town. Scituate is a coastal community on Massachusetts' South Shore. Its location just outside of Boston Harbor and over 20 miles of coastline leaves it exposed to storms that regularly pound the New England coast. Along 10 miles of its coastline, Scituate is protected by either stone or concrete seawalls. However, the most powerful storms to hit the coast are no match for the walls and often leave them in disrepair. On Patriots' Day weekend in April of 2007, a nor'easter slammed Scituate in all of eastern Massachusetts. Waves smashed against the seawall as winds gusted to nearly hurricane force. And following the storm, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, gave Scituate a $1 million grant to repair seawalls damaged in the storm. While that may seem like a lot of money, keep in mind that it costs about $2,000 per foot to replace a seawall. Plus, there are other strings attached to the federal funding. First off, the feds only pay 75% of the repair tab. The state and/or local government is required to pay the other 25%. In the days when budgets were flush, Massachusetts would have split the remaining costs with the town of Scituate. But with budgets now tighter than ever, Scituate is stuck with the entire 25% of the bill. And just in the past few weeks, Scituate voters have gone to town meeting to release funds to be used on one of the phases of this FEMA seawall repair project that will be underway shortly. In addition to requiring the town to pay for some of the repairs, FEMA is also specific about where the seawall money can be used. The agency only allows repairs to be done on portions of the seawall it feels were seriously damaged in that one Patriots' Day storm. So, walls that may otherwise need attention but were not badly damaged in that one particular storm are left to decay further. So this will be one of the walls that's going to be replaced first? Or
believe it or not, no.
No.
This is, currently there's no funding for this wall here. We've got some funding for doing a design on it and trying to figure out what the problems, what's happening with this wall. See if the wall has to be taken down 4 feet and then completely capped, or if the whole wall has to go.
These tight regulations on how grants are used and a general lack of money altogether leads to a patchwork approach to seawall repair. While that may work in the short term, it has been suggested that over the longer term that approach is counterproductive. Kevin Cafferty, an engineer with the town of Scituate, explains that there is no standard way to repair a seawall. Instead, the fix depends on how the wall was originally built and how it has been repaired in the past. He also explained that he and others in his field are increasingly concerned about the likelihood that some seawalls are actually decaying from the inside out. He says many of the original seawalls in town were first built in the early 1900s, but have been added to in layers since. However, with time, salt has become trapped inside the various layers of the seawall. That salt eventually can eat away at concrete from the inside out, leaving walls to structurally wear away with hardly anyone noticing.
That's occurred on this wall. The whole facade is losing. If you look up further, just past that orange mark, you can see the salt that's actually coming out and working its way out of the wall itself. So this isn't one of our highest rated walls. And this is one of those older walls that was built on top of again. So it's actually 5 walls in one. 4 to 5 walls, because it was patched, podged. Section was added, a couple feet were added. But this is also a good showing. This is steel that was added in one of the iterations here, and the steel's all corroded. It's pretty much not doing anything.
The bottom line is that replacing large chunks of seawall at a time is cost prohibitive. Still, Scituate has formed a seawall committee comprised of local officials and residents to search for grants to help repair areas of the seawall most in need. So far, their quest has worked, as the town has recently received smaller grants from the DCR. The hope is that by always watching for grants and by thoroughly evaluating the town's seawall every 3 to 4 years, Scituate can avoid seawall scares like the one that occurred earlier this week on Constellation Road in Marshfield. In that case, a seawall is separated about 5 feet from the land after a nor'easter, leaving officials scrambling to shore up the wall. Back in Scituate, Kevin Cafferty concedes that a similar event can happen in about any community at any time. It's just another example of how Mother Nature is always in control. And the storms won't stop hitting Scituate anytime soon, so the seawall project will continue in this town. Reporting in Scituate for HinghamWeather.com, I'm Michael Page.